Right now, there's a multi-billion-dollar war raging over memory chips, and it's a big one. On one side, you have this AI-fueled supercycle that's promising just historic, mind-blowing profits. But on the other, well, there's the risk of a super bust, a crash that could change everything. So what's the real story here? Let's get into it.
Take a good look at this, because by 2026, you're looking at some of the most valuable real estate on the entire planet. No, really, these aren't just little components. They are the absolute heart of the AI revolution. They're what gives AI its ability to think. And that incredible value, it's why the stock of just one company that makes these chips, a company called Micron Technology, just went ballistic. I mean, we're talking a surge of over 340% in a single year. That's not a bump, people. That's an explosion. So you have to ask, what is really driving this massive memory chip boom? Well, it's a story about a new kind of AI gold rush, a crazy supply squeeze that's actually hitting your wallet, and a huge, high-stakes gamble on the future of tech itself.
Okay, first, let's just try to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this thing. We're talking about AI's trillion-dollar memory boom.
And believe me, that's not an exaggeration. According to a big report from Deloitte, the entire global semiconductor industry is on track to hit a historic peak of almost $1 trillion in 2026. A massive chunk of that growth is being fueled by this insane race to build out AI infrastructure. You see, the whole role of memory has fundamentally changed. As Micron's CEO Sanjay Mehrotra puts it, memory is now a strategic asset that dictates product performance. It's not just for storage anymore. Nope, now it's the engine.
And the secret sauce in that engine is something called high bandwidth memory, or HBM. Just picture a skyscraper of memory chips, all stacked vertically. This design lets them move data around incredibly fast, which is absolutely crucial for training these giant AI models that are changing our world.
But all this incredible demand for HBM leads us straight to the central problem, what some are calling the Great HBM Squeeze. And yeah, this is creating huge problems everywhere else in the tech world.
Here's the deal. You can't just make more chips overnight. Chip-making capacity is finite. I mean, building a new factory, what they call a fab, costs billions of dollars and takes years. So it creates what the industry calls a zero-sum game for silicon. Every bit of capacity used for HBM is capacity that can't be used for anything else.
And this quote from the analysts at IDC just nails it. It makes that trade-off crystal clear. Every wafer allocated to an HBM stack is a wafer denied to the module of a mid-range smartphone or the SSD of a consumer laptop. Simple as that.
And the direct result of that squeeze? A massive price spike for the memory in our everyday gadgets. Just look at this projection. One common memory setup is expected to jump from $250 to nearly $700 in less than 6 months. Some analysts are even warning that prices could shoot up by 50% in the first half of 2026 alone. And that is why this whole thing matters to you. The AI arms race happening in these giant data centers is directly responsible for the squeeze on the memory that goes into your stuff. So yeah, this great AI boom, it's the reason your next computer or smartphone might be way more expensive.
All right, so with all that chaos, let's zoom in on how one company, Micron, is just riding this wave to absolutely historic success. Welcome to Micron's AI Supercycle.
Just look at these numbers from their Q1 2026 earnings. It's staggering. Micron didn't just meet expectations, they absolutely shattered them. We're talking revenue over $13.6 billion, and their earnings per share? A whopping 25% higher than what Wall Street predicted. This is what it looks like to be in the right place at the exact right time.
And guess what? It's not slowing down. Analysts now think Micron's earnings per share are going to jump by an unbelievable 330% for the full fiscal year. That, right there, is the definition of a supercycle.
Now, if you look at the HBM market, for a long time SK Hynix has been the king of the hill. But check out Micron now. They've surged into a strong number 2 spot, capturing 21% of the market and, get this, leapfrogging the behemoth Samsung.
And here's the crucial part. It's not just about selling more. Micron has actually achieved a key technology lead. Their HBM is about 30% more power efficient than their competitors. Now, in these power-guzzling AI data centers where every single watt costs a fortune, that is a game-changing advantage.
But just when this supercycle looks totally unstoppable, a huge plot twist emerges on the horizon, and it's coming from the biggest player of all, NVIDIA.
Think about it. After everything we've just seen,
The record profits, the sold-out supply, this whole narrative about a boom that could last a decade. What if the whole thing has a fatal flaw?
So to get this threat, we need a super quick tech detour. On the left, you've got HBM. It's like having a library of books right next to your desk. It's fast, but you still got to go grab each book. On the right is something called SRAM. That's like having the key facts memorized directly in your brain. It is way, way faster because the info is already there, but of course you can't memorize everything. And that's the key difference.
And here is the potential bombshell. The word on the street is that NVIDIA, the 800-pound gorilla in AI chips, is developing a new design that uses that super-fast on-chip SRAM to completely bypass the need for HBM. Why would they do that? Well, to cut costs, boost performance, and get way more control over their supply chain. And if the world's biggest buyer of HBM suddenly decides they don't need it anymore, that whole supercycle story could collapse, literally overnight. So all of this brings us to where we are today, the new memory battleground. It's a landscape defined by this incredible, off-the-charts demand, but also by just radical uncertainty.
So what should we be watching for? That Deloitte report laid out the key signposts. Can companies like Micron hang on to their lead? As they pour billions into new factories, are they accidentally going to create a glut of chips and crash prices, just like we've seen in past cycles? And here's a big one. Can our power grids even support this massive AI data center build-out? And how will all this new domestic chip production shift the game globally?
And all those questions lead to the one big one that billions and billions of dollars are riding on. Has this AI boom finally broken the memory market's notorious boom and bust cycle for good? Or is this entire industry just setting itself up for the biggest bust we have ever seen?